The rise of the Commodore and his school. Jetting through the star-filled skies, flapping their powerful shark's fins, were Commodore Moab and his loyal school of other sharks. Several people had called 911 for fire department emergency assistance, but the building was rapidly being eaten up by the raging flames. Using water stored in his large spiral valves, the Commodore ejected many gallons from the Pacific Ocean on top of the burning building. Members from his school forced many more gallons out from their spiral valves. The sharks used their aerodynamic fins to fly around the building, shooting water from every direction. A matter of minutes was all it took to put out the fire. Once an opening was forced through the roof, Commodore Moab blew his forceful breath inside to rid the burnt club of deadly smoke inhalation. Not a single person inside club sidelines was harmed. Reverend Warren looked up in the sky and just knew his eyes had deceived him. A shark with a fluorescent blue color radiating around its frame was only a hallucination to him. Reverend Warren rubbed both eyes and said, "I know that I'm 82 years old, and I know that I might be close to being senile, but sharks don't fly and they don't glow. Has the wrath of God come sooner than I predicted?" A case of mild hysteria had broken out around the gay nightclub. Commodore Moab darted down at the Reverend and wrapped his fins tightly around his arms. "Wrong, minister of hatred. How dare you try to commit genocide on a group of people just because they're gay? You know what that makes you." "What?" Reverend Warren asked, his aged heart pumping with fury. "A senseless murderer. It makes you a cold-blooded, calculated, heartless murderer." The Reverend couldn't believe what was happening. "Sharks don't talk, nor do they live outside the ocean. How can you live on dry land?" "Never mind that," Commodore Moab alluded. "You were just about to commit mass genocide. Why? Because they're gay. You Stuart Duffelmeyer and the Masters of Plagues condemned them all to hell when it's you who should be condemned. Heaven doesn't have room for murderers with no remorse." "Talking sharks only happen in cartoons. Where'd you come from and what do you want? Before you pass judgment on others, pass judgment on yourself. Speaking to a shark is just like speaking to myself. This isn't really happening." "Oh, it's happening all right. Your self-righteous attitude had led you to be accusatory towards the Jewish people. They are truly God's chosen people, and they are the apple of his eye. The one Most High has made a covenant with his people." Reverend Warren pulled away from the tight grip of Commodore Moab's fins. He slid the .45 automatic pistol from in between his pants and fired several shots at the Commodore. The bullets went straight through him like wet tissue. Boy, did this piss off the Commodore. He grabbed the Reverend and slapped him a few times with his thick, flexible fins. Red patches spread across the Reverend's face. To give him something to remember him by, he scraped his face and neck and arms with the tip of his sharp teeth. Ounces of salty Pacific water was spit at the center of his face. "Remember, gays are people too. A flying shark that talks. This has got to be some type of plague from heaven. My master has ordered me to plague you since you've been unkind to mankind. Who in tarnation is your master? You shall never know. Your master sure isn't God himself. Guessing won't give you the answer." Other members of Reverend Warren's church congregation ran hysterically up and down Santa Monica Boulevard and onto side streets. They tried avoiding the wrath of the sharks flying above. 6 of his members still had loaded pistols in their possession. As the only measure of avoiding a possible attack, they fired up in the air. They hoped to wound the sharks and drop their dead bodies to the ground, like their